All right, we're good. What's up, everybody? It's Frederick Douglass Bussey back with another whiteboard session. I'm excited to talk about what we got for you today. We're going to talk about how to create marketing that reads people's minds. Would that be interesting to you? What if you had marketing that could read your audience's minds? You could deliver to them the things that they want before they even knew that they wanted it. We're going to talk about it today. All right, let's go to work. One of my favorite movies is Inception. Um, and it's basically the concept Leonardo DiCaprio leads a team of special agents who have this ability to implant ideas into people's minds with this super technology. Good morning to those of you who are watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We're going to get into some pretty incredible stuff today. I'll love to talk about this. And reason I love to talk about it is because I kind of have learned to create this or correlate the concept that we're going to talk about today with this movie that I love so much, Inception. It's a movie within a movie within a movie within a movie, right? And the reason why this concept works so well as a movie is also why it works so well when it comes to your business and the layers that are required. The complexity that will be required to write this movie and this script is the complexity with which you need to execute. But really, I want to break it down so it's really simple for you. I understand that it really comes down to a core concept and a core skill that if you can master this skill, you can apply it to every layer and be able to massively accelerate the success of your business and scale. Anytime you have done something once and you're able to replicate it at scale, you can be able to pour gas on the fire and be able to blow it up. The problem is you need to have the proper fuel. And so, again, going back to Inception, the movie that I love so much. One of the reasons why I love it is because the concept itself is something that many of us have have had happen to us. And when it happens, it's masterful. But if you use it the wrong way, yes, of course, it can be manipulative. But when it works in your favor and it works on your behalf, it feels benevolent. It feels caring. It feels generous. And in reality, that's what we want to be. We want to build generous, caring, impactful businesses. We want to use what we know and our ability to generate whatever outcome through our business to be able to help people to get the outcomes that help them live better, more fruitful, more significant and meaningful lives. And if you're doing that with this concept, which I call inception marketing, it's because you have started to understand the real key. And again, the movie just talks about how they take an idea, right? And so it's around this idea that there's a corporation, there's a CEO, and he has to make a big decision. I don't want to spoil the whole movie, but essentially, Leonardo DiCaprio's team has to implant an idea in his head so that he will act on this idea as if it was his own idea, not one that was generated from outside, right? And so essentially, that's what we are doing with Inception Marketing. You are taking this idea, this service, this product, whatever it is that you have, and you are taking it and you want to implant that idea inside someone's head. And so you want to utilize that to be able to influence them to make the proper decision. In this case, you want to be able to grow your business, to be able to buy your product, your service, to hire you, whatever the case may be. And this happens over time. One of the challenges that you have, though, is that I hear this from people talk over and over again. Clients, when they're coming to me, like, I don't know what my clients want. I don't know what their desire is. I don't know how to help them. In terms of marketing, my marketing isn't connecting. The engagement isn't there. It's not reaching people, whatever the case may be, right? One of the reasons why that happens is because you have not applied the core concepts of inception marketing, right? And we're going to dive into some of that here as well. One of the things I want to talk about is a couple of examples that show you how this has been done, right? If you go all the way back to Henry Ford at the turn of the 20th century, when he introduced the Model T was the first mass manufactured car that was out there. And so Henry Ford says something that was interesting. Had I asked people what they wanted back then, they would have said faster horses, right? And so, interestingly enough, we always compare cars and the power that they have to the number of horses that they have in the engine, right? It would be comparable to having 243 horses or horsepower, right? So we make that correlation. That's one of the ways he was able to sell the Model T to people, because he used something that they already understood to translate it to something else that they was brand new, right? To be able to sell something that's brand new. But in inception marketing, what we want to be able to do is to implant the idea in people's heads in a way that relates to them, that they can easily translate it and see the value of having that thing, right? Because now, instead of having to go and buy 200 horses and having to feed and house 200 horses, I have a car that has that same amount of power, and I just have to buy gasoline. Or in these days, I may be able to just plug it into my garage or at some charging station to be able to use it. So all those things are important. And so when we're talking about inception marketing, oftentimes you think that you have to give people what they want. But knowing what they want is the hard part. And so there's a couple of concepts that we really start to look at, and there's a framework that we use to be able to break that down. I've got a person here today, right? And so inception marketing is basically, how do I implant this idea in their head so that I can get them to want to buy what I have to offer? Because at the end of the day, marketing is about helping people to convert them into clients or customers, right? We want to be able to do that. So how do we do that? Based on what they want, based on where we want them to move. And that influence really is based around the idea of people already want something, right? Knowing what they want is the hard part. Knowing what they want is easy, though, if you can understand how to be able to mine for that information, to mine for that data. People say nowadays that data is king, and there's all kinds of data, but you have to know one thing, where to find the data, another thing, how to translate the data, right? And so if you're not able to understand what it really means, then what does it really mean? And so what we want to do is we want to break that apart for a second, right? People all want something, right? So there is a desire, there is an emotion, right, which is tied to that. There's a want, and then there is a thought, and then there is a behavior or action. What we want to do is we want to move people from desire to action. And oftentimes what we do is we try to start here on the thought or here on the behavior when we're marketing to people. Hey, don't you want to do this? Well, this is the thing that can help you do that better. Hey, don't you want to do this? Were you thinking this? Well, this is what we can do, right? Are you tired? Are you frustrated? Whatever. Sometimes we even start here and move the emotion. But the true desire, right? And when I talk about desire, what I'm saying is that there is, behind every thought, there's an emotion, and behind every emotion, there's a desire. There's a true internal calculus. There's a true thing that's really motivating people to move forward, to take an action, to do whatever they want to do. We are all motivated by something. Knowing what that is the key. And when you understand, you reverse engineer the process, right? So we have a model that we call story graphics. And story graphics basically talks about 5 key elements, each of these 4 plus one more, that talks about how you can break that down, the process of creating your content, your marketing, your strategy, so that you are connecting with people at every stage, at every juncture, right? Now, when it comes to certain things that we deal with, the story graphics, I'll just give you 3 key parts, right? So there is, hold on. Make the boxes. So there are behavior graphics, right? How people behave. There are demographics, which is basically who and what people are. A lot of times what happens is we're looking at, their sex, their gender, their location, their age, um, where they live, where they work, occupation, those types of things, right? Those are typically in demographics. And then we have behavior graphics, which is simply how people act, where they buy, what they buy, where do they shop, what kind of movies do they watch, what channels do they subscribe to, what kind of car do they drive, those types of things, right? So those things we think are very, very useful. In the middle, though, is this piece, which is the psychographics. And psychographics is basically how people think about things. What do they believe? What do they value? And when you understand what that is, then you can be able to start to use inception marketing to be able to tap into those elements. And understanding what people believe starts with understanding who they are, right? Understanding their story. And it really comes down to this one core skill set, which is here. It is listening. Now, I use the phrase social or digital listening. And social or digital listening means you are using the online platforms, you are using the internet, you are using all of these data gathering platforms and devices to be able to start to hear what people are really saying, the complaints. One of the biggest wastes that many businesses have is that, for instance, they may have reviews on certain sites, Yelp or on Amazon, wherever the case may be. And so the idea for a lot of people is that they want to drive up, a lot of entrepreneurs want to drive up their great reviews because that's going to get them more exposure on these platforms. It's going to get people, customers that are going to have more trust and likability for them. They think about it in terms of the branding. What they don't think about it in terms of is that a complaint is an opportunity. Reviews are feedback. It tells how people are experiencing you and your brand. And if you know how they're experiencing it, you can do two things. One, you can engineer a better customer experience. And two, you can engineer greater influence and persuasion for your clients before they become clients, for your customers before they become customers, right? It's the idea of understanding that if people are really attracted to warm cookies that smell, we know that grandma put them in the oven or mom put them in the oven, and we came home from school or on the weekend, my kids have a tradition on Saturday afternoons, they have chocolate chip cookies. That's their thing, right? And so that smell triggers an emotional response, but it means so much more. It means home. It means safety. It means we care, love, right? So cookies equal love. How do I translate that then? Understanding that that's the value of just a small little morsel of chocolate chip or almond crunch or whatever the case may be, right? Understanding that is how you are able to start reverse engineering that into your marketing and into the process of creating that experience for people. So much so that when you are creating this marketing strategy, you understand how to implement it and you can test it before you spend $1, right? If it will work for free, then adding money to it will only enhance it. But if it won't work organically, then it's not going to work no matter how much money you put into it, right? Money won't fix bad marketing. And that's what a lot of people think. Well, if we just throw more money at the problem, if we attract more people. But if it doesn't fundamentally convert, if it doesn't fundamentally inceptualize the idea into your ideal client, understanding who they are, where they are, moving them from desire to action, then it's not going to be what you need it to be. I remember I was having dinner with the head of Porsche, and I'm not name dropping here, but I'm just trying to give you some context. We're having dinner with um, the head of marketing for Porsche, and I was asking him about how they market to their customers and their clients, and he was telling me something that was really interesting. He was talking about the fact that what they do is they have a core client, like they have the ideal. When you think of a Porsche owner, he is a middle-aged white man who is in the middle of a midlife crisis. He's had a certain level of success, and now he is rewarding himself for having achieved this level of success in his life. He wants something fast. He's dreamed about this car since he was young. Now it's his opportunity to be able to have it, the Porsche 911 or whatever. But if you look at their product offering, and you can see this with a lot of luxury brands now, Mercedes, BMW, all of them. I used to wonder, why do they have so many different models? Why do they need them? But each of these models speaks to a different person in a different space and a different time. So it's not just demographically, it's psychographically. Who are they and what do they believe about themselves? And so you will have a small, sporty SUV, electric SUV that appeals to young, upperly mobile women and around their early 30s who are achieving a level of success and want to assert their independence and want to assert a certain level of dominance, if you will. And so they have models for each of these individuals who are there. They have a model for the upperly mobile young woman, affluent woman who is maybe an executive in the company. And so each of these is a different story, and they're telling that model and they're breaking it down as a different story. A different model appeals to a different people in a different place, a different psychographic, a different demographic, and they're going to behave and think and feel differently about who they are. And so your marketing has to be able to target those people each individually. But it all starts at the core with understanding who you're speaking to. And that starts with social and digital listening. Then you can apply the psychographics, the story graphic model and framework to be able to flesh that out. If you'd like to hear more about that, send me a message. I'll send you a link to a download that we created about this that will show you how you can tap into the story graphic model to be able to enhance your marketing as well. The entire Inception marketing platform is part of our program where we talk about and help entrepreneurs to be able to scale. And so part of that is the framework, which is mindset, influence, and leverage, right? To be able to create more momentum. And so if you're understanding where you are in that particular part of the framework, then you're able to leverage that and be able to create more and more power in that way as well. All right, so I've said a lot today. I think it was actually packed in more than I meant to, but I just wanted to make sure that it was really connecting and is giving you value. So let me know in the comments if this has been valuable for you. If you're watching this on LinkedIn or Facebook, make sure you follow me. Connect with the Seven Figure Circle $1 Million Mastermind Facebook group. You can find a link there on my page as well. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, follow us there as well. We're looking to get more followers so we can continue to support the community of entrepreneurs that exist over there on LinkedIn as well. And if you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share this link with someone that you know would find value with it, whether another entrepreneur or a member of your team, maybe even your marketing director as well. All right. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking. If you watch this on replay, #replay. Let me know what you're thinking. And as always, we want to add more and more value to you. You can feel free to reach out to us if there's a way we can help you to be able to scale your business to 7+ figures and beyond. Collaboratively, our goal is to help 100 entrepreneurs reach $100 million in their business over the next 5 years. So that's our goal. And if you are one of those entrepreneurs, we'd be happy to have a conversation with you to see how we can support you with that as well. All right. That being said, I'm out of here. It's time to go make the kids some lunch. We will have another whiteboard session on Friday. Tomorrow's Power Lunch on the podcast. Send me some comments. Let me know what you would like to see more content on. What would you like to learn more about? And we can kind of discuss it here in whiteboard sessions where I get to use all the whiteboard to share with you what we're learning and what we're using to help our clients be able to grow their businesses. All right. That being said, I'm out of here. I'm Frederick Douglass Bussey. Ever forward.